Hi, everyone. Welcome to Think Tank Tuesday. I'm Samantha Zavolinsky, and I'm joined by Dan Allen.
Hello.
And we're replacing Paul this week. So you are stuck with us, and we have some really fun and exciting topics that we're going to talk about. What do we want to start with, Dan?
Talk about creating a competitive advantage. And so many people, when they think about that, they think about what's my sales message, what's my product, and that's really not true on what we're talking about today.
Okay. So I think what you're trying to tease is how really having a competitive advantage can be within your own company culture and really starts with your team, the people that make your company run day in and day out, right?
Correct.
So give me an example of what having a competitive advantage for your company, for your team would be.
So one of ours at Potratz is utilizing the people in our company. So many times in our advertising, in our social campaigns, we're using our people as part of what makes us unique.
Okay. So would you say that's a competitive advantage because we as a team are promoting our team, the individuals that make everything go? So we really look to not only share the spotlight, but the credit for everything that comes out of Potratz?
Correct.
Okay. Here's a question. And a lot of our clients say, how do I get that team that not only will promote my business, help my business grow, but also who can do and fulfill those day-to-day activities?
Well, I think there's so many times, though, where it's easier to hire someone based on their talent or skill level and then try to have them adapt to the company's values and culture. But it's actually better to find someone who adapts to those values and cultures and then teach them the skills they need. Because it's hard to teach someone what the value of a company is.
Okay. So many times you can start with a couple of predetermined skill sets is what you're saying.
Right.
And then from there they need to grow into maybe their position or the company that they're working with. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
So I'll give you an example, guys. So here at Potratz, we do what we refer to as an apprenticeship program. And that apprenticeship program is because over the years, we found that people can come to us with certain levels of experience, but it's never that full, robust basket that we're looking for.
Correct.
So,
because it's digital marketing. It's not something that is you had to do it to kind of learn how to do it.
Okay. But you also mentioned, assimilating into the company culture, really understanding the kind of work we want to put out there and our strategy behind everything. Because I think, you can understand Google AdWords, you can understand Facebook, but really understanding maybe the strategy a specific company takes can differ.
Exactly.
So why don't you explain kind of how we started to form that apprenticeship program? So we found a need, but then what do we do?
Right. The apprenticeship program, how long have we been doing it now?
A couple of years now.
I think 5-6 years. So the apprenticeship program started as kind of Paul and Christy's brainchild of how do we get people in, teach them what we need them to learn, and then assimilate them into the culture. So basically it's a 6-month program.
It is now 6 months.
It used to be 6 weeks,
Yep.
which we've definitely increased the level, and you can kind of explain why we've done that. It's because we want to further vet those individuals.
So kind of back up even though before that, right? So we created an apprenticeship program, and it's what was a 6-week, now it is a 6-month program. These individuals apply for a position that is paid hourly.
Yep.
They are not guaranteed this position for that entire 6-week period.
Right.
They're essentially on an extended interview, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But what do they gain from it? So why would somebody, aside from all of the specifics, why would somebody want to be part of the apprenticeship program? What's the attractive nature of it?
Well, I think it's to get real agency experience. And so many times, I remember back in the day when I was trying to find a job, every place wanted or required you to have experience. Well, how do you get a job that requires experience without having any experience? It's kind of like you're stuck in that that roundabout way of trying to get that experience without actually getting a job. And so the apprenticeship kind of formed into how can we bring people in who could be great team members, and if they learn the digital marketing, they can really involve as the team leaders of the company. And many of them have. We can go through a list of people who are account managers and digital account managers who are now who used to be in the apprenticeship program.
And I think a couple of things from that, though, like one thing is, getting those skills. So it's transitional as well. I mean, as you think about the world ever changing and digital marketing continues to evolve, even websites, for example, the development of how you would have built a website 5 years ago is so different than what you do now.
It's so true. Well, it's funny because we were looking at some old websites from like 8 years ago, and the first landing page that I ever designed here at Potratz was one big image. think back to the day when landing pages was just one big graphical image. Now, that's the worst thing you can do for mobile, for SEO, for and so much has changed. So if you're not constantly keeping up on it, So yeah.
And so one thing with that, though, is because it is transitional, it attracts people through all stages of their life, all ages. And so it helps if you're, somebody just graduating college to understand maybe the industry that we're in. Or it helps somebody who's graduating college get that specific criteria of 1 to 3 years experience, right? Or what about somebody who's specifically been in media? So here's Paul.
Right. So Paul
He's
Potratz.
Jumping in. So you used to work in radio. So if you were somebody who was looking to transition into this digital world, would you be attracted to an apprenticeship program?
Well, let's first talk about why I worked in radio.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be a DJ and I wanted my own microphone. That's what it was, except it couldn't be this high. So, I mean, really, but thinking about a competitive advantage, though, I mean, so many companies just thinking about ad agencies. I was talking to a friend earlier today. He has an ad agency. Actually, I talked to a couple friends with ad agencies. We're just doing the end of year. But think about the number of ad agencies that are in our market. So let's really kind of narrow it down. So can we think of ad agencies in our market?
Of course.
Okay. So out of those ad agencies, and let's just name one of them. You want to name one?
You could name one.
I knew you guys are going to do that. Sissies. All right. Let's just say an ad agency. Which one are you thinking?
Well, let's put it this
Okay,
way. We have probably about five ad agencies in this specific location, like this geographic area of our office, that compete in the same sector pretty heavily as us. So that's not even talking all advertising agencies, just direct competitors.
Just automotive.
Yeah.
So
just
let's just talk about automotive ad agencies. So, and this is what I was talking about, the automotive ad agencies that are out there that dealers have so many choices to pick from. If you go through their websites, they say the same stuff over and over and over. That where's the competitive advantage? I mean, they're saying stuff like, we drive traffic, driven. I'm like, what's that crap? Or they say, I'll call a spade a spade. I mean, we generate leads. We drive, it's all about we drive traffic. We generate leads. We sell more for you. I mean, what's the competitive advantage? Where do they stand out? Where are they very unique? None of them are unique. They're all basically, I feel like you're in a grocery store and you're walking down the aisle and you're trying to decide which ketchup do I want.
It's like, what color do you like better, the orange or the blue website?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. There's no competitive advantage. And I mean competitive advantage. And what I like to believe about our competitive advantage is we have a number of competitive advantages. And I mean, when I go out and I speak and I talk to dealers, I mean, you guys can tell me, come on, leave the comments on Facebook, and this thing's really high. It's like, Dan.
I can share with Dan.
You guys make me look so short.
I can put my shoes back on.
Yeah, I know, I'm short. But, I mean, so, let me lower that. I can't lower it. But
you want to trade?
No, you keep the gold mic, Sam.
This was my idea.
It's more fitting. It was your idea. So, anyway, Dan broke the mic.
He glue it on there. No, he glue it on there. That's why you can't get it.
Anyway, don't worry about it.
Don't show your strength, guys.
Yeah, don't make me feel wimpy, okay? But anyway, so my point is, when the way I look at what our competitive advantage is, and I mean, we've not won business because of our competitive advantage, which is fine. They wouldn't fit. And I mean, and you guys tell me, would this be our competitive advantage? Creativity. I mean, so many times that, like when you and I go out and pitch, and we ask the question afterwards, so what stood out to you? What do they normally say?
They usually say that it's something unique that they haven't heard before because we're continually being creative and bringing a unique strategy to first to market. So, something like ringless voicemail drops in conjunction with an additional strategy, multi-layer campaigns, just even our branding. I mean, for example, the TV commercials that we do and the amount of time we put into the one specific commercial that we do, it takes a lot of time. And a lot of dealers think, okay, well, I need a new commercial every month. Let me bang out an incentive-based spot. But they're not connecting with their data.
There, I got it.
They're not connecting with their clientele by showing how their vehicles can be used in a lifestyle campaign.
So it's being creative. It's being creative. And I mean, and that's, when I first came onto the scene in automotive marketing, it was through NADA. NADA contacted me, asked me to come speak. I didn't submit to speak. So many people are paying to play, paying to speak, and the whole name Think Tank Tuesday. It's Think Tank started with NADA when NADA said this was when the economy crashed in automotive 2008 2009, and they said we want to call you the digital think tank, and that's the thing. I mean, it's so many companies, and I mean just not ad agencies. I'm not beating up on ad agencies, but companies have to form a competitive advantage. Where are you different? So many times a business owner will look at other businesses that are in the same industry as them and they're doing this or they're doing this and they're doing that, and they try to follow them. So you're always chasing them. You're making them to become the leader. You're chasing your tail. What is your competitive advantage? Another competitive advantage that, like where we had, in fact, let's just talk about Metro Ford.
Sure.
Yeah.
Metro Ford, one of our first clients that we brought on years ago, and they signed us for our competitive advantage of creativity. We did crazy commercials.
And they evolved over the years
and they
to
evolved,
crazier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
To the point that we decided it was time for us to separate. But they were so used to that creativity of giving them that competitive advantage in the market. And then they went to another ad agency, and the first thing the ad agency did was like, well, let's change your logo. Let's
Got
change
rid of our brand.
Got
Their
rid of the
brand.
brand that we spent years to build, got rid of the brand, and it showed that what happened. There was no consistency to the point now they fired that agency, and now they're back with us.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it shows you how things come full circle. What you think is giving you your least advantage is sometimes what gives you your biggest advantage, but you're tired of it. But sometimes because you're tired of it means that you actually are starting to get penetration for it.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's like one of the biggest struggles that business owners face is as a business owner, you see things day in and day out, you touch things day in and day out, but depending on that repurchase cycle of your clientele, they don't see it necessarily day in and day out. So by the time they start to get it, we get bored of it and we go in and we say, let's do something different. And then
that's just an entrepreneur spirit too.
Awareness.
I mean, a lot of times a business owner, an entrepreneur feels like they've always got to be monkeying with it instead of improving, making it better, and finding out how to, get better at their strategy. Another competitive advantage too that I would look at for us that, did it really happen by design? I think partially it did, and we talked about this last week. But how many women do we have in the building?
Majority of us are women, actually.
Majority of everybody in the building, and a lot of people see me and they think I'm leading the strategies, and I'm really not. But you think about that by design, that our owner is female, Christy. That was to get the state contracts, of course. But but then you, Samantha, in a VP role, our account managers, our performance managers, our content writers, so I mean it goes on and on and on. And that's a competitive advantage for us because if we were building ads like the guys that we hang out with that are our clients, because all of our clients, for the majority, are men. And men all think alike. And so you get a bunch of men into a room, we don't think on the logical side.
Well, I actually also think in a different angle, it helps us when we're looking for potential employees as well. There's a benefit when we're looking to recruit that I think a lot of people don't think of as well as a competitive advantage. The fact that we are a female-owned company, that's a big deal. I mean, there's a huge conversation around females in the workplace, and we're able to lead that charge and that initiative because we are.
Yeah, and I just think of the strategy side of things. I mean, because Dan, we've had male account managers over the years, and.
Yeah.
Dan was an account manager for like a week. You guys can guess why that happened.
No, he was longer than a week.
Okay,
it was a month.
So should I tell the story about my first week here?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So 6 years ago, my first week here at Potratz, I went with Paul and Dan and another guy who didn't last more than a week, but that's neither here nor there.
Who was that?
His name was Jim. I won't give last names in case he's a Facebook
you took his
friend.
job though.
No, we both started the same day.
Oh, a different Jim. Oh,
I took that other Jim's job.
You took the other Jim's job.
Again, neither here nor there. But so we go to a client, a local client, and we go for a marketing meeting. Do you remember this day? Dan's sweating in the car. They're working on the presentation.
Yeah.
Because it was one of Dan's maybe first month being an account manager, and he was kind of nervous about it.
I remember that.
And so I don't know if I should say anything else, but let's just say it was a very interesting first marketing meeting. It didn't scare me away, and then Dan was really no longer an account manager.
I got drilled for 2 hours straight.
Drilled or grilled?
Both. It was bad.
Did I help you out, though?
Yeah. But, no, well, I think that's a lot of it is just, like, is really understanding, like, jumping in to, like, get involved with the company. But, like I said, it's not the best role for everybody. So.
Well, I think there's something to say that you've done it all. And that allows you to add to that. So when you're working with those team members, you have that insight, especially at an upper management role, really being a servant manager. I think that helps because now you can better serve that team to be able to understand what they need in terms of support. I mean, I think a lot of the times if you get a manager who comes in and may not have that experience, there's a lot that lacks there. You know, it's a lot easier to say just do it than having done it yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But think about, because, boy, squirrel, here we go. We're all over the board on this, but competitive advantage. And that's one of the hardest things to do is form a competitive advantage. And I mean, us as an ad agency, think about it. How many times have we done this over the years that we've said, we're an automotive ad agency. I mean, everybody knows this is automotive. And they're like, you know what? We're going to expand. We're going to add other industries. And then we start to, and I mean, and all companies do this. Then you try to become like a one size fits all. And then you're trying to attract.
Or how about...
Go ahead.
How about redesigning your website?
How many times have we done that?
I laugh because, like where I was saying before, like
have
where
you
we
been
get
on the website today? It changed
bored.
Over the last couple of days.
Well, I heard there was a meeting the other day to change the Potratz website again, so that's why I'm kind of bringing this up.
So, hey guys,
Maybe
I want you to go
forum.
to the website ppadv.com. Again, it's PP, like Peter, appledavidvictor.com, and check out the website. Tell us what you think about the website. That's what I'd love. See how it renders on mobile.
Do we guys have any questions while we're...
Yeah, why are you pointing at stuff, Kurt? What do you want us to do?
Commercial break.
Oh, guys, all right. So what we're going to talk about is one thing. Well, actually, I want to talk about three things. And Dan's leaving us already. But three things. He says he has to go to the bathroom. You can't take a picture. I got your phone right here, Dan. So you must have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, so we were going to talk about three things, but the squirrel ran by.
Yeah, three things that you want to consider as your really... Three things is you really
competitive advantage.
Creating your competitive advantage. But guess what? Kurt told me we got to take a break. Okay, so break. Now, Samantha, this is your time to talk about our new podcast that we have every Wednesday.
So every Wednesday, you can catch Paul Potratz and a special guest.
If you want to call them special, most of them have been special.
Okay, so a special guest every Wednesday for what we were called what am I doing?
Growth Mindset. It's the Growth Mindset. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Dan, where else is it at? That's it right now. So it's everywhere. Kurt, would you quit messing with stuff? So anyway,
I'm getting
guys,
flabbergasted.
check out the Growth Mindset. And we have a new one coming out tomorrow, which you can also find on my website, which is paulpotratz.com. And don't misspell Potratz, guys. It's not spelled like portraits. It's just spelled like pot rats with a Z. All right. So there you go. Growth Mindset. Check it out, guys. And
subscribe.
Subscribe, please. And leave some reviews, but make sure they're good. So there you go. All right. So we're back. So we're going to talk about three things that you've got to do as you're creating a competitive advantage.
Okay. What's number one?
I hope you were going to tell me. All right, first one, creating competitive advantage. Understand you have to create a niche. Mm-hmm. And that's very uncomfortable to create a niche because you feel like you will lose business. I know this all too well.
But I think that's the biggest thing is you need to know that you're actually broadening your horizons compared to limiting them.
Right.
Because instead you're actually appealing to somebody instead of trying to appeal to everybody. I think that's the biggest thing a lot of people have is they're too afraid that they're going to limit opportunities and then nobody wants to talk to them because they go to their website and they're like, what do you do?
Yes. So in creating that niche, though, when you're creating that niche, in other words, that you're going after some type of a niche market, you have to make sure that niche market, is it large enough to be able to, and I mean, we could think of some really off-the-wall type niches that might be a little difficult to support yourself and a team. So how big do you want to grow? How much opportunity is in that niche? There
needs to be a need to some extent.
Exactly. There has to be a need.
You know, if you're the only one person that does this kind of service, in the whole entire country, well, they likely can, do it either themselves or with the help of an agency if you're going to be an advertising agency, but that's not what you're going to build your bread and butter on.
Right. So you think about it. I mean, could there be, for example, let's say that you, I don't know. I'm trying to think of different niches.
Of something that would be too small or too big?
Yeah, too small that would be out there.
Well, I think, too, you also have to look at the kind of business you have and what you're looking to sell them.
Right.
You know, because, for example, like if I want to sell dentists' websites, well, there may be a niche to sell them websites, but if there's a monopoly on how they're getting their websites right now, that may be an impenetrable market. So you need to do the research to understand if there, A, is a need, if it's big enough, but if you can even get a footprint within it. If you're gonna, there's something to be said about climbing uphill, but there's something if there's never the top of a mountain.
Right. So there you go. So first one is deciding that niche. What are you going to do? Not being scared to go after it. And second one, I gave you time to think about it. What do you think it is?
Oh, you gave me time to think about it. I was talking the whole time.
Yeah, I know. So, and that was a hint where you said I'm talking the whole time.
Well, I think the biggest thing, too, is you need to have a voice. You need to have a website, a presence, and you need to build a brand, and you need to communicate your
So let me add to that
statement.
then. So, because you're almost on topic, what I was going to say, where you decide that niche, number 2, is to become the authority. Mm-hmm. So now I have the niche, and I mean, like our agency, I mean, that's the way we built it, is how do we become the authority? Because, and that's anybody that's watching the video, I challenge you guys to go and visit other websites, other agency websites, and see if their website is represented the way ours is. Is there a lot of free information on that website? Is there blog articles? Is there videos?
For people out there that are saying, well, I don't want to give stuff away for free because the whole point is people to pay me to do something.
Right.
Now, there's a whole thought process you can look up and research studies on why you want to give away that free content. Let's talk about that because I think that's a big obstacle both mentally and then the time it requires to invest in creating that content and getting it out there, especially as you're starting a business. You really just want to look for that clientele. It's kind of, you got to look long-term, not short-term.
Well, I'm going to talk about that, though, too, because, yes, you've got to look for that clientele. But when I started the ad agency, the way I started is I had a handful of clients already because I was already established in automotive because they were spending money. I'm a car nut to, the 10th degree, my family. So a number of reasons. But so I had a small base of business. But what I did is I followed the model of other ad agencies.
Yep.
I got on the phone and started dialing for dollars. But I was only able to call one person at a time, and we've all heard, get on the phone, work the phone, pound the phone. I don't agree with that strategy. And there's people out there, friends of ours.
That's all they say.
That's what they're saying. That's their stick, that they're telling you to do that and you're paying money to get on the phone and dial for dollars. And I mean, I'm talking about where I started the agency, in 2003. It was a lot easier to get somebody on the phone than it is today.
Definitely.
And so I don't agree with that, make millions on the phone and all that stuff. I think that's a fallacy.
Well, and there's different approaches to everything, and I think there's success in maybe both, but I think you got to look at your resources too,
Right.
To your point, you started with a set of clients, and then from there you built out. So how did you make that transition?
So that's the thing. And I mean, and I'm not totally discounting the phone in the sense because I would, but instead of trying to cold call day in and day out.
You're saying build relationships in a different way.
I'm saying build yourself as an authority. So the way I started is I started Think Tank Tuesday. I started doing a broadcast. I started working smarter in the sense, in my thought of it, of building an email database, building a social following, building a network of individuals. Anytime I could talk about this, Think Tank Tuesday, that's what I did. So I was able to reach people in the masses. I started doing webinars. And I mean, and Dan can remember the day that there was many a times that I would be doing, 2 webinars a week. I started writing blog articles. I was writing for Driving Sales. I was writing for Digital Dealer. I was writing for JD Power. I was writing for Auto Dealer Monthly. I mean, I was on an average. I mean, there was a time with Driving Sales that I was doing 2 blog posts a day. So you think about that. And then I was using LinkedIn. I was using YouTube. So wherever I could get a mass audience, that's what I did is I spent my time becoming a content developer in addition to managing accounts and doing everything that needed to be done. But, a lot of times a business owner, what they want to do is they want to be able to write a check and then get eyeballs.
Well, and I think one point of that too is you were selling through everything you were doing. And so I think that's what's commonly missed is when we're looking at creating content or putting our resources in something like this, you say, well, is it going to drive me sales? But that was what was driving you business, because you were creating all of this outbound content that brought inbound interaction.
Brought people to the website.
To those conversations, whereas before you were fighting for just a voicemail.
Well, exactly. Before, what it was is I'd call them on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Paul Potratz. I'm with Potratz Advertising." And so I was trying to sell the person
and they
right
had no
then.
idea who you were, and
They had no idea who I was. I was trying to sell.
conversation.
I was saying the same thing everybody else was saying, so I wasn't able to create an audience. It's much better to have someone come to you. Saying, I want more information, versus you calling them up trying to sell them. So by me developing all of this content and, the videos and the blog articles and writing articles for the magazines, what happened, the next evolution was I started speaking at conferences, and I'm speaking at conferences, and then different people are paying me to come speak at the conferences. So I'm talking to a mass audience all the time.
We got a question from Facebook.
Questions.
Willis wants to know, what is the toughest aspect of delivering your service?
Okay, so Willis asked, what is the toughest aspect of delivering our service? Is that correct? Okay.
So that's an easy one because, and I mean, we all know this, and Sam knows this. She's been on media pitches and everything else. That is, I was developing all this content and sharing all this free information and telling people how to do stuff. They were like, that Paul Potratz is a pretty cool guy, but what does he do?
Yes. Clarity in...
Yes.
So I think one thing that kind of brings us to something actually we were even talking about the other day is it's okay to ask for the sale in the content that you're putting out there, or ask and communicate what you do.
Right.
So depending on the type of business, asking for the sale may or may not pertain. It doesn't necessarily pertain for us, but providing clarity in the end of a conversation or an article about what it is we can provide somebody is not necessarily a sales pitch. It's just clarity on why we're in the market, why we're having the conversation with them, why we're supplying that content. Because at the end of the day, if you're the right partner, the right dealership, right client, we would like to partner with you. And so we're putting this out there because it attracts those type of clientele to us, and then it builds an everlasting partnership where we can provide clarity across the board.
Well, because we do. We
advantage.
attract a completely different type of a client.
Yep.
And that's the clients that we attract are the ones that we want. We want those clients that are saying, let's do creative things. We don't want the clients that just say, you know what, I just want to write a check, make my problems go away.
And if they're listening and watching and auditing our content, more than likely they are the type of person we want to work with, because they're out there saying, what is new, what is exciting, what can I do that's going to make me unique? And we're the ones that are trying to propel that conversation.
So I wonder if everybody sees the whole madness to the strategy of it all. So what we talked about, we really love being creative. We really love doing new strategies, pushing the boundaries. And then so we start providing content to push that content out of how to do stuff, but we can't do the new strategies as much because it goes right over somebody's head and they don't understand it. And they say it's not relatable to them. It's not relative. So we have to really bring it down so people can say, I can see how this can grow my business, but then it brings them in because they're out there and they're learning and they're pushing because, you can make a good living just by working. But you can make a fortune if you are constantly learning. There's a slogan or a quote like that. I was trying to remember it and I flubbed it up. But anyway, you get my point. So we want to attract those clients that are always wanting to evolve, always wanting to push their company, always saying, let's get better and better and better. The ones that just want to, glide. Yeah. We don't really, we get a little frustrated with that. So anyway, what are you pointing at the screen for? What if we don't want to do power words right now, Kurt?
We're being promoted to push to a commercial break, but we're mid-conversation.
Yeah, Kurt. Why you interrupt us like that? You know what?
I want to hit the power words.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here's a quick promotion, guys. So if you're looking for ways to drive conversions for your business, visit ppadv.com/powerwords. Here you'll get an idea of specific words you can utilize both in persuasive manners.
Samantha. Can you give me your best radio voice on this?
I don't have my fake voice on.
No. Yeah, try it again.
I don't have a radio voice. Everybody makes fun of me, though, because when I get in front of camera, my voice changes.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready? Go. Roll.
I don't know what I didn't do right.
Do your Wolfman Jack voice.
I don't know.
If anybody knows what Wolfman Jack is, please leave a comment.
Am I too old for that?
Do you know Wolfman Jack?
No, I don't.
All right, guys, check it out. It's a must-read for driving conversions. That's right. Now I want you to download ppatv.com/power words, and we're going to give you all the words to make sure that your emails are converting, and these are words you can use in your daily conversation.
Download it now.
That wasn't really a Wolfman Jack. That was more like, I like mustard in my biscuits.
I think there's a commercial with that voice in it, and I can't place what it is.
Really?
But I think I've seen something to that extent.
Some people call it a sickle, and I call it a sling blade.
Okay, on that note, we're back.
All right. Hey, guys. What's up? All right. So there you go. I think we covered a lot on that.
And I think we kind of gave more than 3 points for them to take and think about. Do we have any questions?
Competitive advantage is what you want to focus on. It's scary. Don't try to be something for everyone. Decide what exactly it is that you're going to go after.
Carve out your niche.
Carve out your niche.
Do some research.
Yeah.
Ask some questions to businesses you'd like to work with. I think that's another thing that,
Listening?
you can do is listen. Just because you think you have a product, a solution, a service, if you're not listening to the market you're trying to penetrate, you're just going to waste tons of money and effort.
I agree. And so, guys, do me a favor. Go to our website, PPADV. Check it out. Samantha, you haven't seen the changes we made yet, have you?
I haven't, so I'm going to go check it out too.
So
I
check it
recommend
out.
you do as well. And before we go, I heard that Think Tank Tuesday always has a fashion tip. Do you have one ready?
Oh, man. Why'd you put me on the spot? I wasn't even going to do this killer headache, and I was going to, but I seen Dan, like, he kept on looking at me
I
like
have
this.
one
Oh,
that,
you do?
well, I don't, but your headache thing made me think of a comment.
Oh, boy.
So, you know
I'm
how
in
they say
trouble.
dress for success?
Yes.
What about when you don't feel good? Dress for success.
Makes you feel better.
It makes you feel better. So
Does
I'll
it
leave
really,
you with,
though?
Well, I think the better you dress, the better you feel.
Okay. I would totally agree with that. I mean, in fact, just looking around the office, I mean, we got some pretty sharp people that are dressed really sharp. I mean, we should go walk around with our iPhones and do video with them. But
if you guys want Potratz Fashion Hour, like below, and we'll take some Instagram photos of our Potratz team today. I think the color scheme is pretty like black and white and gray today.
Well, that's what it is outside.
I feel like we should take a class photo. But.
And it's going to be -8 Thursday night. That's kind of crazy. So we got something coming up, though, we should tell everybody about.
Oh, yeah. So Friday.
Friday? Is it a Friday?
It is Friday.
Are you sure?
If we're talking about the same thing, yes.
Friday?
Marathon?
At 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m. So we are doing a Facebook Live holiday marathon to share some holiday cheer and get you guys to know our Potratz team.
Wait. Do you have a good Christmas story to tell on Friday?
I am going to do a favorite thing to give back over Christmas. I'm going to run that segment.
A favorite thing to give back?
Yeah, so what do you do to give
like
back over the holiday
stuff?
season?
No, you're talking about regifting.
Well, I guess I could include that to extend it a little bit.
Let's talk about regifting.
You shouldn't do it unless you don't like the gift, then do it.
But what if you do like the gift, but you think somebody else should have it because you want to pass the love on?
Well, I think I actually think that as long as it's not like something used and unshareable, you can share
What
a
if
gift.
it is used, though?
It depends what it is. Like if it's a used sweater you think somebody would really like, I mean, I'd give it to my sister, I guess.
Oh, hand-me-downs now is what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Friday, 1 p.m. Check us out right here on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yep.
Maybe you'll win. We have some extra Google swag from an event we recently did. Check it out.
We're going to give away Google swag?
I'm going to be raffling some Google swag to our team as well as to our live Facebook audience. So if you guys watch at 1 p.m., stay tuned for the full 4-hour broadcast. You'll find out when we're giving away
4 hours?
4 hours.
I guess you said it was a marathon.
It is a marathon. So we look forward to seeing you on Friday at 1 o'clock.
That's right. And tomorrow.
And tomorrow for the Growth Mindset podcast. Do you know who you have as guest? It's a surprise.
Yeah, I do know. It has to do with...
Stay tuned and you'll find out tomorrow at whatever time.
What do you mean whatever time?
I don't know what time it is.
Me either. Okay, goodbye, guys.